So class, today we are going to do a solving quadratic word problem. So let's go ahead and talk about the shape. The two shapes that you usually see for quadratic, we know the formula is ax squared plus bx plus c. And when a is positive, you're happy, right? You smile, the graph is open up. I would draw a graph like this. Oops, not pretty, but it's okay. And then when a is negative, you sad, right? The graph is open down. So we have this scenario looking like this. So there are only 3 points in this graph that you really have to worry about. So the first one right here, as you can see, this is the chin, the lowest points of your face. So it's gonna be your minimum, okay? So here we go, minimum. And we also call them the vertex. And then over here, as you can see, this is the top of your head. So it's gonna be your maximum. And we also call them the vertex. Every single point is always labeled at x and y, so make sure you always read the x and y coordinate. Now, there are also 2 more points when it cross through the x-axis. We call them the x-intercept, right here, this point and this point. How many times you cross through the x-axis, that's how many solutions you have. For right now, we're looking at these 2 solutions in here, so we call them x-intercept. And you can take a look at right here. If I'm going to read the coordinate right here, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 0. And over right here, I'm gonna do that's gonna be -2, 0. So if you take a quick look at the x-intercept, the y value is always equal to 0. So therefore, you will hear the word 0 as well. So that is another word for that x-intercept. We call them 0 because again, the y value is 0 at that point for the x-intercept. And then we also hear the word solution. And then eventually you're also gonna hear the word root, okay? So these are the keywords that you're going to do. Our lesson today is only about these 3 points only, okay? Those are the points that we're going to do and we're gonna investigate today. With that being said, we're going to start with question number 1 to give you an idea how we're going to use the points in this word problem. Super easy, super doable. So let's go. Question number 1, as you read the question, I always going to highlight the keyword. So the keywords is always usually start with the equation. So here we go. I have this equation. As you noted, it always in that standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c. In this case, our a, the number in front of x squared, your coefficient, that's in negative 0.05. That means it's gonna be a negative. So we kind of have an expectation they're gonna open down. But what scenario we go right here? We got a player that hit a baseball, okay? So I like to draw, so here go a player. He play baseball, boom, 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 boom. So the ball eventually have to hit the ground, correct? The ball cannot be up in the air. So here we go, the ball eventually hit the ground. Boom, so here we go. They give the path of the ball, blah, blah, where h is the height. Okay, we gotta understand this one. H is the height and x is the time. So these are the important key part that we're gonna know. So h stands for the height and x stands for the time. The question asks, how long does it take the ball to reach the highest point? So if you look at this picture, which one gonna be your highest point? Obviously this one, right? And we call them the maximum. So it's given us an idea what we are looking for. And again, maximum, we have x and y. We know that x stands for time, and then y stands for the height. Knowing what you look for will really help you with this question. Here, what we're going to do is grab them. As simple as that. You're just gonna grab them exactly the way they are in decimal. I do it on both sides so you guys can see. So I'm gonna have negative 0.005. What do we expect? The graph gonna open down, right? Let's see. To activate that, you click on this keypad and you have x squared plus x plus 3, boom, boom, boom. Okay, if you cannot see the whole graph, you can always make sure you minimize them and you can see, look, perfect. We have a graph open down, very much similar to what we have, right? So let's talk about those points. The question asks, how long did it take the ball to hit the highest point, right? The highest point in here is obviously our maximum. All right, so this is gonna be our maximum, as you can see right here. The maximum is the vertex x and y. We know X stands for time and Y stands for the height. That's telling us what to looking for right here. They ask, how long did it take the ball to reach the height point? That means they are asking for X. Then I'm just gonna go to decimal and I have to look for that point. So here we go. The point right here say 10 and 8. Perfect. So this 10 and 8 right here, it's telling me this is X and this is Y. So how long did it take the ball to reach the high point? That's going to be 10. And we want to put for the unit for time right now, we're just going to say 10 seconds, okay? And they ask, what is the maximum height reached by the ball? Well, up here, right, the height, again, we already set that in Y. So right here, we are looking for Y. And if you look, Y going to be 8. For right now, the unit for the height is going to stay with feet. So 8 feet, okay? So here we go. We try to make it a little bit realistic. So fake it till you make it. Now, eventually, how long did it take the ball to hit the ground? As you can see, the ball cannot be up in the air for long, right? Gravity will take it down. So how long did it take the ball to hit the ground? When you hear the word how long, what does that mean? That's going to be the time or the height. Time, right? So that means we're looking for X again. So here we go. That's telling me that if I want to hit the ground, that means I need to find that point. Question mark, find out how much it is. So there are two points here that they hit the ground, this one and this one. But as you can see right here, on this one, the X value is in negative, and this is a real world problem. And also because you're hitting the wall and they go this way. You don't want to pick this point because it's a negative solution. You don't want to be a ghost, right? So this point going to be kind of out of the picture, but the only thing we're going to focus on is the positive points over here. And it's at 22.6049. We can just route it to 22.6 and comma 0. Again, one more time, if you noted, when you hit the ground, there is no height on the ground at all. So your Y values is 0, and that's the reason why we call this point 0 as well. But what is our answer? We're looking for X, so that's gonna be 22.6 seconds. Okay, and that's all we have to do for this assignment right here for word problem. You grab them, you find those kind of points, and you identify our maximum and our 0. Okay, that's pretty much it. And if you go all the way right here, we do have keyword for you to follow. And I'm just gonna go over the last problem right here in which that it's not a word problem, but it's very self-explained, so we can look about it as well. So what happened if we have a graph that doesn't open, the graph that open, so what about this graph? Do you think it's going to be the same way, even if it opened up? It's still gonna be the same. So let's take a quick look. So again, there are 3 points that we have to talk about. That's the our 0 right here. We have 2 of them. And then we also have our vertex. In this case, our vertex is our minimum. And our job is just find out how much it is. So let's read. That's going to be -2 and -9. So that is our vertex. Okay, so we have -2, -9 at our minimum. And then we also have our 0, the 2 of them. Or you're going to hear another word solution. Or you're going to hear another word x-intercept. Or you're going to hear another word, one more, that's going to be root. So these are the words that they're going to ask in the everywhere, over and over. They might change in between, but if you hear the word, that's exactly what they mean. And you just have to look for it. So right now we have the first one in 1, 0. You see that where the 0 come from. And then we have -5 and 0. And that's it. So your job is identify them. And right here, we have x equal -5 at one of your solution. And right here, x equal 1. That's telling you how many solutions do we have. If you want to make a difference between the point, you can put like say x1 equals -5. You can also say x2 equals 1, if that works for you, okay? All right, I hope the lesson makes sense to you. If you have any questions, please don't wait.